Okay, we are live at
Yay!
Suzilla.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Suzie.
It's been Suzie and Suzilla over here at the Wenatchee Insurance office, also known as Suzie Health Solutions, the full-service enrollment center for the Washington Healthplanfinder, and the headquarters of our new Awesome Possum property insurance stuff.
Okay, so
Yes.
we're gonna jump in the Wayback Machine.
Oh, wow.
Because Susie's going wow because I've been saying, we're only going forward.
Is Sherman here?
Yeah, for a while.
And Peabody?
Yeah. And we are going back to something that happened, episode we taped 2 years ago to this day.
Okay, you ready? Okay, we flash back.
Yeah, we're flashing back to fierce, not aggressive.
Ah, fierce, not aggressive.
And it's important because we started talking about that concept when we went through what we thought was impressive growth.
Why? Little did we know.
And, because we'd grown for like 3 years, like 30+%.
Which is great.
Which is...
It's a very nice, steady, impressive growth role.
And the year that we did this, we actually doubled.
So it was overall a good year.
Yeah, and we're pushing somewhere in that 40% last time I looked.
Okay, cool.
Everything all the policy count that we did up until I believe it was August. In August was the point where everything past that was gravy. Every policy we've added on since August is more than we did the previous year.
Okay. I don't know if I call it gravy because we've had some changes in outflow.
Yeah, but if you consider what we did during open enrollment,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, because our open enrollment is not in there.
Oh, that's without that.
Okay. That's without that.
Okay,
so it's just like
it's been a crushingly good year. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, it's been crushing because we've been aggressive.
Yes. But have we been fierce?
And we haven't been. We've been fierce, not aggressive.
Okay. Well, our marketing's been kind of aggressive.
Yeah, we've pushed some boundaries.
Yeah.
And we're gonna continue to push some boundaries because
it's fun.
Well, it's important.
It is.
To have bring that level of intensity back. We started, giving away stuff.
I know,
right? Because it's fun and exciting, and I had someone that was just absolutely delighted in the
advent calendar.
Advent calendar.
Was that from the one from yesterday?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they came and got it after Christmas, but you know what? That's just because they don't check their messages.
It was cool because
we got to use it.
We got to see Hans fall from Nakatomi Towers.
And then the person who came and got it gets to see it next year.
Yes.
And if Matt really wants one, we can always get another.
Exactly.
And maybe even be a full color version out there by this time next year.
There are a couple. There were a couple that were we wanted to go with a
local provider. Not local, but small business.
A small business.
Yeah.
And then I felt that was important because there were a lot of knockoffs because it went viral rather quickly.
Oh yeah.
Because it is a template for one of those laser cutters.
Yeah, it's not that hard to slap one of those in your automated thingy maboobers and go.
Yeah, and then it becomes the manufacturing speed.
Yeah.
And packaging and delivery, which presents some challenges.
It does, and we like to support small businesses. Hence the sweatshirt I'm wearing today.
Mm-hmm.
I am wearing my small business sweatshirt. We had a small business reach out and say, "Hey, I need help. Can you lend a hand?" And we bought a sweatshirt from them and lent a hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I have my Suzie Health Solutions sweatshirt on today.
and it's important because I've kind of felt that last couple months that we've been kind of slipping on our fierceness.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's because we've been desperately trying to keep our heads above water with the business, with the pressure of the clients coming in. It's been the open enrollment pressure that's got to be part of it.
Yes, but that pressure is largely alleviated now for several weeks.
So I don't know about that pressure has not been alleviated for several weeks. That pressure has been alleviated for about 10 days.
2 of the 3 gates have been closed.
Yes, so where pressure's been let off for about 10 days. That's not several weeks. I'm going to disagree with you on that one, no matter how hard you try.
That is fine.
I know it is. Okay, so the question lies is how do we start being the fierce little bunnies that we are because we're coming into a year of the rabbit?
True. It's a lucky year.
It's a lucky year. We could be Warple bunnies. You know, what was it? Gosh, what was the name of the rabbit that they threw the holy hand grenade of Antioch at?
You're the Anglophile, not I.
I know. That was I'm gonna have to look it up. You talk for a second.
So yes, there are one of the biggest things is you got to shed being passive aggressive. You got to, if you see someone falling down, mm-hmm. you got to pick them up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I did one of my natural things the other day. I was working on a new logon for property, and I hit because we got 2 zip codes for our office. We got one, which is our natural zip code where the address is, and our PO box.
Right, which is 2 zip codes.
2 zip codes.
God knows why, but the post office did that.
So yeah, I went and did the logons and got smacked in the head. It's like, oh, well, crud, and flipped the zip. Maybe they did the other, and they did the other zip code. So, and I told our partner Shayla, hey, this is what's going on. You use this other one.
Yeah.
To get by, and it was one of those things by instinct I did, because I ran into a problem, got smacked in the head, and I didn't want my partner to get smacked in the same head.
That's not a bad thing.
No, however,
that's part of the deal.
That's part of the deal, and
try and catch it before it spreads.
And that's one of the things that being conscious of the people around you and your teammates is incredibly important.
Yes. Well, and that's part of just being compassionate. It's just being aware of the world around you.
Did you send me that?
Yes, I did. It's okay. It's not important. It's the rabbit of Caradabog.
Okay.
You wanted it. So that's a vicious rabbit and Monty Python and Holy Grail. Because it's a rabbit year, and we're fierce rabbits. But yes, it's important to be compassionate and understanding and aware of the people around you and assist them in not making the same mistakes you're making or have made. That's not too much to ask. Shouldn't be too much to ask.
Yeah. Now you unfortunately have been chained to the desk doing all sorts of policies and your little weaving in your magical way. Yeah,
I've been kind of I don't know, bubbled.
Yeah, one of the things that you did was you did a great campaign last year for Medicare. You came forward and you did the video work for all the Medicare commercials on iFiber.
Yes.
And that was incredible.
No, to be fair, you had to poke me every time, but I still did them.
But that's an example of you getting it. And as we move forward, since we've got a business, I'm either going to have to poke you a lot harder, or you're going to have to move quicker.
We'll just have a pleasant combination of both. So give me that look. It's part of being a team. We all work together. We all do things that we, do to build the business. And in part of supporting each other, we support each other's fierceness.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, there are points where we do tag teams.
Yeah.
And that's really important to look at, is how do we better enable those handoffs? Because for a good example, I'm almost out of supplies, and we need to really.
That was actually on my list of to-dos today.
Good. Because we also need to secure events. We also need to secure the affiliations.
We are getting a little bit more into business, but we need to be talking about our topic, because this is things we.
Okay.
We're spiraling
into what? Personal versus
the podcast.
Okay. So what we need to do, there are things that can be done to promote fierceness. A good example brought up today on Soup was the failure of agencies in hiring new agents. And one of the methods of failures was bringing someone in and having them and paying them an hourly rate while they got licensed.
And then
that's to fail a couple times, and they're on the dole, and it doesn't have any sort of fierceness in that individual.
So they have you're asking, okay, so it's the safety net.
It's not necessarily being a safety net. It's about you're building an individual, a new team member, and at the same time, you're not creating that fierceness in them.
So if you've got somebody who's brand new to the insurance industry, wants to break in, and you want them to be part of your team, how do they pay their bills while they're working on their getting licensed? Because we know that takes 6 months or so. Are you saying that a person who's working on their license shouldn't have a financial support by their employer?
No, I'm saying is you should expect your prospects for new people to come in to already be licensed. And if they're not licensed, you're hiring them to do other work during the day, like slap phones, make calls.
Okay.
Do outreach, that sort of thing.
You're not paying them to study; you're paying them to work and then study on their own time.
Yes, because being a licensed agent is a benefit.
Yes.
And you want someone that is actually hungry to do that job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can either do this job and get paid an hourly wage, or you can study and then move to this job and get paid your commissions. Okay.
And 45,000 agents in that particular group on Facebook. It's a large group. And yeah, I've done it myself. I've had people on the payroll. I've dropped good money in their lap. Hey, get this thing doing, and so we come, and this never worked out.
Yes, we've had that fail a couple of times, and we gave up on that model.
When we gave up on that model years ago.
But we do know that there are people who do continue that model.
Yep, and
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and it's not working well.
Well, here's the thing: you've paid somebody, $16 an hour or more, and help them, giving them advice and time, and let's just assume you're one of the people who hire and then say, here, get your license, and give them some space. So you're spending money on space, spending money on the utilities, because you're probably letting them use your computer, and hopefully you are not paying for their studies and testing, but some people do. And then they turn around and they get their license, woohoo, and then they boogie out to a better offer. Who ends up ahead there? It's an awkward position to be in. Because you are not, unless there's some sort of weird contract in place, there is no guarantee that person's going to stay with you.
Yeah, particularly in Washington State with the age, the age of basically the non-competes have been basically chucked out the door.
You pretty much can't run a non-compete. And it's not a non-compete situation usually.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, what you're doing, but asking somebody to invest in themselves, their time and their money. Here, have a job. This will help you while you're studying. And that's okay. It's an interesting. It's an okay tactic. It seems a little. I don't know. I guess if I were trying to someone trying to break into the industry, I would be a little more, hey, you need to pay me while I do this. I'd be a little more on the other side of it, but I'm not. I am the industry.
Well, it's the notion that you're a self-starter.
Yeah.
Self-starting your fears. By sitting and waiting to be handed to you, you're not. Mm-hmm. You're back into that passive aggressive.
Maybe just passive.
Could be, and that's known.
Well, you got to remember though. I mean, with self starters, and when you're dealing in we're sliding back into personal again. Self starters sometimes need to have guidance.
Yeah, you can
give them a task and let them go to it.
Well, that's the notion behind, hey, let's, you could do the outreach and set appointments while you're doing this.
Mm-hmm. And then you can, you can even, a boss could even say, okay, here's 3 hours in the afternoon that you're allotted to study, but you've got to get these things done first.
No, because then you're still paying them to study.
Yeah, true.
And that's not.
If you want to come in after hours and use this computer, that would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an interesting twist.
Yeah. So it's
we haven't done that in a long time. I don't know if we're ever going to do that again.
Well, I know that this is going to come up, and the reason why is because we're at a critical junction in the insurance industry.
In the industry or just us?
I think at least in the state.
Okay.
That most people don't understand is with the literal hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be available to use the exchange the first time.
Mm-hmm.
If you are Spanish bilingual,
you've got an opportunity.
It is a massive opportunity in Washington State.
It doesn't take that much effort to get licensed to be an insurance agent or insurance broker. You go in there, you sign up, you get some studying done, you take the test.
Mm-hmm.
It's not free, but then neither's college. It's a relatively inexpensive way to start a full-on, honest-to-God career.
Yes, and you still need that partnership.
Yeah, it helps. It helps a lot to have a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be people who just fling out and do it for themselves without any kind of guidance.
Yeah, and usually they crash horrible deaths.
Yeah, it's nice to have something. A goal to get to and a support system around you.
Well, it's such a unique industry that you need to be able to set goals and understand these are the directions we need to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing that, particularly on the captive side.
Yeah.
We're seeing we were talking with someone earlier this week on how Blue Cross Blue Shield in New York.
They're going all captive.
And they're all going all captive.
And we know that there's where I suspect that Molina's going to go that way.
Yeah, that's our suspect in our state.
Mm-hmm. Which is going to be interesting considering how much Medicaid they do.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
But for the non-Medicaid programs,
everything in the industry right now,
mm-hmm.
well, favors the consumer in a lot of areas because of protections. The second thing it favors is the large corporations.
Well, you think?
And the piece that is able to work those two together,
that's people like us. The
agents and the brokers are last. They're the crumbs at the table at best. Yeah. So there's points where you got to be fierce. And I know I've been fierce more than once in advocacy for my clients.
Oh, yeah.
And that it drives, the Healthplanfinder a little on the nut side. It drives the companies I work with a little bit on the nuts. Mm-hmm. It's good because, my clients are my number one priority.
Exactly.
And however that endears me to my clients.
Yes. And that's our bread and butter.
And we, this is the point where we got to really shift. And we started to in mid-year last year when hey, you got to talk with people, not talk at people. Yeah. And it was a marketing shift. Mm-hmm. And we talked about that with Mike C. Yeah. It's a whole different mindset of moving from, hey, I'm here punching policies. Mm-hmm. I'm collecting premium, to, hey, you should have this coverage, and being an agent, because we're not seeing a lot of people that are comfortable with the fierceness it takes to say, hey, you need this coverage. This is the best plan. Yes.
And it does take some guts to do that. And that's where, a broker, the extra training that we have can be really valuable. And you've got to, as a broker, be fierce to protect your client. Mm-hmm. And that means giving them the best coverage they can afford.
This is the weird one. This is a weird one I had this enrollment season so far. Mm-hmm. Was I had someone that baited me the opposite way.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
And that was a commute. They wanted me to commit to a plan, and saying that was the best plan.
We don't use superlatives in insurance. It's not okay.
And provide ironclad recommendation for a particular plan that I've literally gone to the VP of that company and told them that was a piece of garbage.
Oh yeah, this is the best. Is this the best plan? No, I'm not going to tell you. I actually literally told this person, we don't say best and worst.
Yeah,
we don't use superlatives in this industry. We just talk about what's a good choice for you.
Yeah, but
that's actually literally specifically sketched out in CMS training for Medicare.
Yeah.
We are not allowed to say this is the best. This is you're just not allowed to. That's just not okay.
Yeah, and it's that weird culture, but you've got to be able to stand up and say that. And it requires an intensity sometimes.
Yeah.
And when someone, is going completely off the rails, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. This plan is the one that will work best. Mm-hmm. And then you back it up.
This is a plan that's most effective for you. Mm-hmm. I don't even use the word best. That's not in my vocabulary.
Yeah, you're in the Medicare realm.
And it's not a bad thing to avoid the word best, because that's just a freaking E&O trap.
Mm-hmm. And that is important across any industry, is being able to be an expert. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about it before that there's this weird grate. And great as in, grating cheese, against experts and professionals.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that happened, but you're right. I mean, there's the whole, what makes you such an expert? That would be 10 years in the industry.
My training and credentials.
Training credentials and 10 years in the industry. That might make me an expert. But I'm on Reddit. I read this on Reddit. So
Reddit was your bane this year.
Oh my Lord! Yes, Reddit was the bane of my existence for a little while earlier this year. From a couple of, Reddit says I was on board on Reddit, and Reddit. you should. Oh my gosh, that was fun.
Okay, and
because unfortunately, when you're dealing with that kind of stuff, you don't know who you're dealing with, for one, and you don't know what their kind of experience is, for two. You don't know what state they're in, because things vary a lot from state to state when it comes to insurance. There's just so many variables that you cannot verify when you're dealing with people on the internet.
Now, just speaking of people on the internet, this is one of the ones I want to find, because it is universal at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Who is referring to exchange plans as government health care?
No, state.
State.
It's not government. It's
state
plans.
The state plans.
Because that's gone around, and we found it's not just happening here locally. It's going around all over the place. Where the heck did that come from? This is not state insurance.
Yeah. And that is really a nasty one. And I'm kind of curious if it's a Reddit group or a sub thread.
I don't know.
But it is kind of insidious.
Well, here's part of the problem. When you're talking to a provider's office, well, I have state insurance. They immediately think Medicaid. Immediately.
Yeah.
And when they walk in there with an exchange plan, oh, we don't take this. Well, you said you take state insurance. This isn't state insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It throws people like crazy.
Yeah, see, the Medicaid one is I can understand, because it's regulated at the state level.
It's a state subsidized program. It's a state. Medicaid is a state by state program. Medicare is a federal program.
Mm-hmm.
ACA is a federal program administered on a state by state basis.
Yes, but even the state exchange, what for example, our Washington State Healthplanfinder is a private company.
Exactly, and we're dealing with private insurance plans here, individual insurance plans. You're contracting with an insurance company. You're not contracting with the state. You're using the state's exchange to find a product with the individual insurance companies.
So yeah, if you know someone that is using the whole state insurance, tag us, let us know.
We want to know where they found that, where they started using that word.
Yeah, because we're kind of curious to see, because I really want to do a deep dive into it and see on how correct or incorrect the information they're pitching.
Yeah, I want to know where that comes from.
And that's kind of my nerdy. So yeah, you guys get some homework.
Yeah.
Yay, homework.
If you say, hey, if you've been referring to your ACA plan as the state insurance, if you know somebody who's used that phrase, we want to talk to them.
Yeah. Well, tag us, let us know. It's like, oh, I heard it this way.
Yeah, we want to track that sucker back.
And because, like I said, it's on both coasts.
Yeah, in our friend, our Mike person, we were talking to Mike Cardoso. Where was he at? He's in North Carolina.
I believe North Carolina.
But he's got quite a large agency. He's got a lot of he works with throughout the United States.
Yeah.
So, and he's heard that in all kinds of different places, and I've heard it this side of the Cascades and the other side of the Cascades.
Yeah, but it's picked up steam. We're seeing this kind of weird classism starting to show up.
Yeah, and what that tells me is people think that state insurance has always had a bad connotation, and it's like, well, that really needs to be stopped.
Yeah, and we're gonna work on that, and like I said, we're gonna figure it out and track it down and get nerdy with it.
Fierce about it. Fierce.
And that's important. It's see on where your lives where you can be more fierce instead of sitting back and saying, no, they'll give me I'll get a pay raise when they raise the minimum wage. Ask for a pay raise, or what can you do? What else can you do to get a promotion, to get a raise?
Be proactive in your life.
Yeah, don't sit back. This is not the time to sit back.
No, don't let life happen to you. Go live it.
If work on confronting things around you in a positive manner. If someone's getting picked on, you try to do your best to shut it down and make have someone feel safe.
Yeah, be an active participant in your own life.
Yeah,
there you go.
All right, so hey, have a great day.
Yes.
Be fierce. If you're like, oh, what do they mean by be? Yeah, you can, when businesses were shrinking, we were growing.
Yeah.
And that was just by being fierce and not aggressive.
Yeah. And yes, exactly. All right. Talk to you next week. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year's. It's Merry New Year.
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year.